All right, I've just started the recording. Welcome everyone to the Liberal Arts and Sciences Admitted Students webinar. I hope you're all doing well on this Monday evening. So we'll just hop right into the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat at any time. So first, if you guys want to pop into the chat what subjects you're most interested in, you can see the Liberal Arts and Sciences subjects up here. I'm just going to add one more student as well. If you're not sure what you want to study, that's okay too. Science, awesome. It's a great path. Another science, great. All right. So we'll keep going. So this is the North America team for UCD Global. My name is Sarah Keniston. As you can see on the bottom row there, I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts. So if you're based in anywhere else across the country, you can see where your closest rep is. Some of our reps also cover different areas. So if you're ever unsure as to who your representative is, please feel free to reach out. So the liberal arts and sciences background, just quickly, typically when you go internationally for college, you don't have the option to kind of go in undecided and maybe try a few different things before officially tracking on to your degree of choice. The liberal arts and sciences program was created in 2010 to give non-EU students that option at UCD. And I see politics and stats. Awesome. It's a pretty small program and it offers some flexibility within the college to kind of say, maybe you like science, maybe you like politics. Let's try a little bit of both in your first year, and then you'll officially track on at the end of your first or second year, depending on the program. So that's why this program was created at UCD. And just to review some UCD jargon, at UCD, we call a class or, college class a module. One module is equal to 5 credits at UCD, and students take 6 modules or 30 credits per trimester. One thing you'll notice at UCD is that we call everything a trimester, but for undergraduate purposes, you'll only have 2 semesters or 2 trimesters. You will not be taking classes over the summer, so you don't need to worry about that. A standard academic year is typically 12 modules, so 6 in the fall trimester and 6 in the spring trimester. That's equivalent to 60 credits. And then a stage is what we call a year. So what you might say in the US is your freshman year, we'll say stage 1 for your course. Core modules are classes that you're required to take as a student in that program. So if you're taking biology 101 or whatever the equivalent is, will be a core module. An option module is something where you might have a list of 5 modules and you have to pick 2. So in the business world, for example, that's where a lot of students will specialize between accounting or marketing or supply chain or whatever it may be. And elective modules can be from any discipline across the university. You'll typically have 1 to 2 per year at least. So this is kind of an overview of what year 1 of the liberal arts and sciences program looks like. As you can see, year 1, you're in that liberal arts and sciences program. And from year 2 onwards, you have the option to specialize. In some cases, you'll specialize in year 3 and 4. So if you're looking at certain arts degrees, architecture, business, or engineering, you'll often track on at the end of your second year. And we'll get into a little bit more of why it's like that. But if you're looking at agricultural science, food science or human nutrition science or social sciences, and some of the arts degrees, you'll track on after your first year at UCD. Some courses that are not available through liberal arts and sciences are psychology, law, computer science, health sciences, sustainability, city planning and environmental policy, any of the BA humanities courses, and Commerce International. So if those were some of your top choices, if you're looking to study medicine or vet med or anything like that, these are all not available through liberal arts. And if that's where you're at right now, please feel free to email me or anyone on my team, and we'll help you kind of figure out where to go from here. So your progression at UCD, as we kind of just discussed, some courses will lead you into the direct option after year 1, and some will lead you in after year 2. It's important to note that if you have not met a certain math requirement for your application, then you'll need to meet a math requirement while you're at UCD. That's typically for science, engineering, and business. If you're in that place, you'll speak with an advisor at the end of the summer and they'll let you know, and they'll kind of keep you in touch of what you need to hit to be able to progress into the next program. That's often equivalent to a 600 on your SAT math, a 26 on your ACT math, and there's a few other ways to meet that as well before going into UCD. So if you have any questions, just keep me updated. And here we go, math requirements at UCD. So you can see here, AP Calc 3 or 70% in 2 foundational math modules. Those would be taken at UCD. AP Calc would be taken before if you're in engineering. And for science and business, 600 on the math SAT, ACT math 26, and a pass on foundational math. Great. So we're going to go through a few of the different programs that are offered through the Liberal Arts and Sciences program. And if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me. This may get a little bit repetitive, so we won't stay too long on each page, but if anyone wants me to go back, that's no problem at all. So first, we'll look at the BA Joint Honors. Here we have a whole table to show you what you can take as a subject combination. The BA Joint Honors is something that allows you kind of mix and match beyond the Liberal Arts and Sciences program. So for example, if you want to do English and archaeology or Greek and English as a subject combination, those are all available. And you'll see here where there's not a check mark, that is not an available subject combination. If you go down this route in liberal arts and sciences, this will be your structure for year 1. This is pretty similar to a lot of the structures we'll look at, so we'll spend a little more time on this one. That first module, Ireland Uncovered, is something that all liberal arts and sciences students take. It's an introduction to Ireland. I took it myself at UCD as I went through the liberal arts and sciences program. It's a great module. You'll even go through a walking tour in town. And it's a great way to kind of familiarize yourself with Dublin and Ireland as a whole. Specifically for the BA Arts degree, you'll be going through, and yes, these slides will be available. The academic writing and practice or introduction to arts, that's specific for the BA Arts that they have published, and they want you to take that if you're going to progress down that path. And then you'll take 2 arts modules from the first chosen major list on the next page, which you'll see in just a second. And then you'll take 2 other modules from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. So you could take a business class, you could take a science class. This is where, if you are unsure if this degree is what you want, this is where you'll add additional classes in to try something else. Or if you think you pretty much want the arts degree, this is a great way to then add in more of those classes. Liberal arts and sciences is great for students who aren't quite sure what they want to do, but it's also great for students who know what they want to do, but they just kind of want that fallback option in case they get to UCD and they decide arts is not exactly what they thought it would be, and maybe they actually really like social sciences or business or whatever it may be. In the spring trimester on this list, you'll see that you have a little bit more choice about the modules that you're taking. So you'll take 2 arts modules from a chosen major, and then you'll take 4 modules from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. You do have to complete a minimum of 10 credits, which is equivalent to 2 modules from the major you wish to pursue before being able to transfer officially into that major. The reason I air quotes on transfer is that if you are getting good grades and you're keeping up with all the requirements, you don't have to complete a separate application to move into that program. And these are the modules that are listed on this page when we look at arts module from second chosen major list. This is that list, and that will be the same for all of these degrees. Now we have the BSc Social Sciences. So similar to before, you can see the different subject combinations here. So you can go in with an idea of what you would like to study, or you can say, I really like a lot of these programs. Let's try a few out in your first semester or between your first 2 semesters, and then go from there. Here's that structure for year 1. So you can see again, the first 3 modules are prescribed already by the college. Then you have 2 modules within social sciences, and then 1 from any other liberal arts and sciences pathway. You'll see a common theme here that the second semester or trimester is when you have a bit more flexibility to try other programs. And that is because in your first semester, you'll be a little heavier in that kind of chosen path or the path you're leaning towards. That second semester is a really good chance to change your mind or to commit to that pathway and continue down that. And here is the stage 1 list. Science. So I know we've got some science takers in the group today. Here are the different degree options that you can progress to from taking the science, liberal arts, and sciences pathway. I get a lot of questions about the science route in particular, and if liberal arts and sciences will allow you to still graduate in 4 years. And the answer is yes. So you don't need to worry about that. Similar once again, this is where you'll start to kind of familiarize yourself with the science classes. In this specific case, you only have one prescribed science module in addition to that Ireland Uncovered module. You'll take two science modules from the list here, and then 2 from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. Let me take some questions really quickly. Do you choose a submajor within the pathway we choose, for example, politics and social sciences? Yes. So for social sciences, that is kind of a unique one where you will choose the major and minor combination. If you're going into a different route, let's say science or business, you'll be committing to a specific one degree. The social sciences is where you'll also choose that major minor combination that you can see on this page. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any other questions though. All right. So here's science. And yes, so in science, the question is, in science, could you choose to do genetics? You could choose to do genetics. How that would work is that your first 2 years would be working to get, so first year would be working to get into the science degree. Once you're in the science degree, you'll do 2 more years of exploration. And then in your final year is when you'll specialize in genetics. And as you can see here, you must complete 25 science credits, 5 modules in trimester 2 of year 1 to progress into science in year 2 of your program. So if you're very unsure about science, you're going to want to know pretty quickly off the bat. As you can see here, there's 4 modules listed for science. If you're sure that science in trimester 2, if you're sure that science is the option for you, then you should aim to take 5 that semester so that you can transfer in the following September. And here is the stage 1 list. Now we've got the business degree. This is what I did at UCD. Like I said, great option for students who know what they want to do, but maybe just don't want to fully commit yet, or you're going in really unsure of how you want to proceed in college. And this is a really nice backup option. To say maybe you love business, you'll keep going with it, maybe not, you'll change to something else, or whatever the subject may be. And will you get an advisor that will help us select modules in first year? Yes. Once you get to campus in August, you'll be meeting with a member of the liberal arts and sciences team to discuss what your interests are, how you should proceed, what the best kind of route is for you to take. So say you're really torn between business and science, they'll help advise you on what classes to take, when is the best time to take them, and all of that. So here for business, you'll see here business module appropriate for year 1 as advised by school. So for example, they might tell you, accounting is a really great way to start off your semester, but it's a pretty intense class. Maybe a more business-oriented class that will give you a feel for the degree would be effective learning and development, which is actually listed right below. They'll advise you on what the best thing is to take for you as a student. Then you'll also take 3 modules from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. So like I said, if you're looking at engineering or science or social sciences, whatever it may be, those are the classes that will fill those spots. And then second semester, you'll take 3 business classes and 3 modules from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. You'll also see at the bottom, you need to decide at the start if you are hoping to track on to the commerce degree or the BSc business degree. They're both very similar within UCD, but the commerce degree is your more kind of structured, typical business degree, and the BSc business, it takes a more global perspective. So keep that into mind, and you can also talk with the school and kind of decide what will be the best route for you. Here are the core module lists. For business specifically, all of these modules need to be taken in your first 2 years in order to officially transfer into the business program for your third and fourth years. Business is also an interesting one where if you go directly into the program, there is the option for the internship year in year 3. You do still have that program or that option as a liberal arts and sciences student, but it will push your degree to be 5 years. So just keep that in mind. If it's something you're really interested in, you might think about applying directly or just onboarding yourself for the 5 years. Agriculture. Here are your course options of where you can progress to from the agricultural liberal arts and sciences pathway. Here's your structure for year 1. So as we've discussed, you've got 2 of those course prescribed classes, 3 from the liberal arts and sciences pathway, and then Ireland Uncovered. Second semester, very similar, but you have 3 core prescribed classes and then 3 from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. So agriculture is probably one of the more direct pathways from the liberal arts and sciences program. And here are the lists of classes that you can take. These are for students who intend to progress into the Bachelor of Agricultural Science degree. Engineering. As we can see, you've got 2 of your engineering classes in that first semester, and then Ireland Uncovered as well. Then you'll have 3 classes from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. Second semester, you'll have 2 of the engineering classes, and then 4 from the liberal arts and sciences pathway. With engineering, also one that you want to have an idea of ahead of time before you're going in. If you're aiming for engineering, you want to kind of track on as early as possible. And then in that second trimester, ideally you can fill more of those classes with engineering modules just so that you are catching up with everyone. And this is the list of classes that need to be taken across years 1 and 2. So that's why it's important to know a little sooner on if you want to progress into engineering. It's also important to note for engineering that if you hope to graduate in 4 years, you'll have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering. If you want to do 5 years, you'll do the Bachelor of Engineering or the B.Eng. And then 6 years, it's really common at UCD for students who do the B.Eng degree to add a year on for their master's program. So if you go directly into engineering at UCD, that's typically a 4-year degree. Liberal Arts and Sciences makes the B.Eng 5 with the Bachelor of Science in Engineering 4, 6 years with the master's. And is liberal arts and sciences right for you? If you are saying yes, you want flexibility and time to consider your options and kind of see what is out there for you, accept your offer, look out for updates over the summer, and explore what's available in liberal arts and sciences. So if you're that type of student who has 2, maybe 3 options that you're really passionate about, but you just don't want to commit right now, this is for you. If you're thinking, I actually think going directly into something is going to be more suited for your personality and what you're hoping to get out of your degree or anything like that, you can connect with us, UCD Global Inquire, to let us know that you're kind of questioning this and see what courses are still available. Entry requirements do vary, so definitely check out that website. And then you could apply to a new course throughout August, especially if you're in touch with us, we'll keep you in the loop and also let you know if courses are already closed. Some of them are already starting to close, so if this feels like it might be the right path for you, reach out as soon as possible so that we can get a new application rolling. So just a kind of testimonial from a previous liberal arts and sciences grad. Patrick Hensey is now living in Los Angeles. He did the LA&S, which is liberal arts and sciences, to BCom, which is the Bachelor of Commerce degree. And then he went down to our Smurfit Graduate School of Business and did the Aviation Finance Masters, which is actually very common in Ireland. Really interesting masters. Then he talks about going to New Zealand as a study abroad opportunity during his commerce degree. And now, like I said, is working in Los Angeles for an aviation company. So just one of the ways that you can kind of take your liberal arts and sciences degree. And then we also have Mackenzie Sawyer. In 2021, she graduated with her BA Arts. Talks about not quite knowing exactly what she wanted to do going in and not being sure about the liberal arts and sciences program, but ended up being a great option for her. I can only echo these thoughts coming out of high school as a student who kind of knew what they wanted to do, but wasn't 100% sure and didn't want to commit to something without totally knowing. Liberal arts and sciences was a great pathway in that first year of college, it also allows you with those extra modules some time to kind of get used to a different environment, whether you're going abroad for college or not, it is something new. And so taking modules that maybe are pushing you and then some that are more familiar to you to kind of give you that time to acclimate to a new setting is a really great opportunity as well. You'll still have all the same opportunities as your peers. Like I said, that internship year for certain courses is still available to you. Sometimes it adds time and sometimes it doesn't. You're still going to be able to study abroad and you're still going to be able to make friends and progress through college with those friends. It's really important to note that in liberal arts and sciences, yes, it's open to non-EU students, but you are still integrated in your course. So if you're looking for the science course, you're taking classes with those other science students and you're, doing group projects and you're going forward with those students. Same with business or arts or engineering or anything like that. So you won't be singled out. You won't be in classes not being able to make friends. You'll be in a great spot. And resources to connect with our other offer holders. Some of you may be attending our offer holder events this week. I highly recommend them. It's a great way to start out your UCD journey. Knowing someone when you land in Dublin, they don't have to be your best friend for life, but it will make a huge, huge difference just being able to text someone on the first day and say, hey, how's it going? What's up? Can we meet for lunch? We also have a global Facebook group. So parents often join this to get advice from other parents, or students also can join this group. We have a student welcome hub that is going to be in your UCD portal. So it will likely go up this summer. Some of you might have access now, but I would keep an eye on it until around July. We have a WhatsApp group, as you can see on the QR here. This is for undergraduate students specifically to get to know each other, talk about where they're planning to live on campus, what they're studying, and just to make friends before getting to campus. We have an alumni connector that is through the portal as well. And then, like I said, the offer holder events starting, I believe, tomorrow in Denver. So get involved. Let us know if you need more resources or a link to register for something. We're here and we're excited to help you out. And what's next? The Liberal Arts and Sciences brochure. I will paste that in the chat shortly after. That's a great place to look and kind of review a lot of this information as well. This is also being recorded and will be sent out after, along with the slides. You can also accept your offer and pay your deposit. You'll get a survey of interest over the summer from the Liberal Arts and Sciences team. This will kind of say, what do you want to study? Rank your top 2 or 3 options. And if you're really unsure, you'll have the chance to kind of express that to the team and kind of go from there. Registration will start in late August and early September. So while this may be a bit different than your US peers, please do not panic. This is totally normal. Irish students don't get their leaving cert results and then their college results until August. So everything is just on a completely different timeline. So if all of your friends are registering in June for their US colleges, not to fret. You're on time with UCD. And the Liberal Arts and Sciences Program Office will provide individualized registration advising. Like I said, you'll meet with them. There will be a whole Liberal Arts and Sciences orientation on campus when you're there in September. So if you have any questions, you can email them, you can email us, or you can meet with them then as well. And if anyone has any questions, I will stop the recording. And thank you so much for coming today. Like I said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team. My name is Sarah. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.